Hey guys, Brandon here. I'm on my warrior named Use Charr Salesman. I'm in Pre-Searing. It's a level 19 axe warrior. Now, I haven't made many Guild Wars videos outside of running, and you may know me as a runner. My name is God of Fissures. That's my main. Anyway, so I've been casually doing pre-searing these days, and I found an axe warrior to be very effective. Now, I wrote a guide on presearing.com a couple years ago, but it wasn't very comprehensive. It didn't go into a lot of detail, a lot of the math behind why I like an axe warrior so much. And I think since I made my post, more and more people have become aware of axes and why they are so good in pre-searing. So I'm just going to give you the skinny for this video. Basically, you're a high level, the enemy, the Charr, are a low level. The enemy is between level 8 and 10, 8 being the regular monsters and 10 being the bosses. You're typically a very high level, in my case 19, so I can still use the imp, or 20. So there's a huge disparity in level between you and the enemy, and that does some amazing things. So your critical hit chance is going to be through the roof, and critical hit damage is dependent on the maximum damage of your weapon. So take a sword, for instance. Maximum damage for any sword is 22. Maximum damage for any axe is 28. Obviously, that doesn't apply to pre-searing, except for the sword if you have the glacial blade, whatever. So an axe in pre-searing has a maximum damage, I think, of 19. It could be 20. I don't think those drop anymore, though. But anyway, I have a axe that has a maximum damage of 18. Now that's pretty close to 22 with a sword, the Glacial Blade, and you don't need any special stuff in order to obtain it. Hammers hit quite a bit higher, potentially, but they hit very slowly. Hit hard, but very slowly, and there's not too many good weapon skills in pre-searing to utilize the hammer, so you don't use it. The weapon skills for axe are amazing. Sword are not very good. The first thing, sever artery, just does some bleeding, and then you got gash, which is great for preventing healing from shamans and the monk boss. But aside from that, I don't know, man. Gash just isn't really that good. You want some really awesome utility, you go with an axe warrior. Cyclone axe, awesome for that AoE damage. You have those Charr warriors surrounding you. Whip out that cyclone axe, and because of the level disparity, like I described before, and the high maximum damage of an axe, your chances of critting are pretty high. Plus, they're going to be using frenzy, so your damage is doubled. You're going to be hitting some high numbers and wiping these things out faster than a sword. I guarantee it. And then, Executioner Strike, you're going to be spamming that pretty often. I think it pops up in the heat of battle like every 10 seconds, if not more frequently, if you proc on the Furious chance, which I got on my axe. So, Axe Warrior, in my opinion, hands down, the best type of warrior in pre. I don't care if you have the Eye of the North, the bonus pack that gives you the Glacial Blade. I don't care. You're going to be killing things extremely quickly with an axe, if you got a good axe, and it's hard to obtain. So let's take a look at my gear. Alright, so main hand, axe. 6 to 18 is what I currently have. It's not best in slot, it's damn close though. The requirement doesn't matter because you're going to be maxing out your axe mastery anyway, and I'll get into that in a little bit when I explain attributes. The inherent modifier that I have on this one is a perfect plus 18% while hexed to your damage. So here's my rationale for having this. When you're up north, the Ashen Claws are going to be everywhere, pretty much, for the most part. And you're always going to have a hex on you if they're alive. So what I tend to do is kill them last. I want hexes on me. I don't care if I'm attacking a little bit slower or I have some health degeneration. If I got a hex on me, I'm going to be doing 18% more damage. And I verified that with the math. I created a whole spreadsheet with the math, tested out everything. I've tested out 5 or 6 different axes, and it definitely counts, and it works a lot. So anyway, that's the inherent modifier. There are some other ones that you can get which are great, but I find this one to be best for Charr farming alone. Then I customized it to give me the additional 20% in damage, and then a perfect 18% versus Charr handle for the axe. Now, I also put the Furious attachment, perfect 9% for pre-searing on that. So my rationale behind that is to generate as much adrenaline as possible. Why is that important? Because Executioner Strike hits like a truck. Executioner Strike is amazing, and the more you can utilize it, the better, especially at higher axe mastery levels. So that's why I have that there. And it affects adrenaline gain from all sources. Your basic attacks, your attack skills, and even getting attacked. And you're going to be getting attacked a lot. So that's the axe. The shield, I haven't found the perfect shield yet, but this is an amazing shield, and you guys know about it. It's the one you get from the quest reward very early on in pre-searing, and it's amazing because of the armor value versus Charr. This is the only shield that gives you armor versus Charr that's higher than anything that can drop in pre-searing. The highest that can drop is +9, this is +10. So you're immediately at an advantage outside of the gate. And then it gives you 15 to health. It's a great shield. There's only a couple things that could beat it, theoretically. I won't get into that now. Armor. Knight's Insignias on everything. The rationale for that is because the Axe Warriors and the Blade Storms in the Northlands attack very, very quickly, and they use skills that will pretty much guarantee that they hit higher than 0 a lot of the time. So it may seem like, oh, 2 damage, 3 damage, 5 damage at a time doesn't seem like a lot. But when you add it up, because of how many of them swarm you, and because of how quickly they attack, that ends up being a lot of damage very, very quickly onto you. So I'm trying to mitigate as much of that physical damage as possible. So a lot of those things that may be 2 or 3 damage to me end up being 0. So I can survive a lot longer without having to spam healing signet all of the time. Now, the Knight's Insignias only affect that individual piece of armor. So if by chance the Charr guy hits my legs, the damage will be reduced by 3. Now, since I have it on every single piece, it ends up being a global -3 reduction to physical damage received. Alright. In the head, I have the helmet that is a reward from the Yak guy, and I threw an Axe Mastery rune into it. The reason for that is you want to have the highest possible Axe Mastery, which in pre-searing inherently is 14. 12 plus the 2 that you get from this helmet. And the reason for that is, 1, damage. You want to do as much freaking damage as possible. And 2, critical hit chance. The higher your critical hit chance, the more that maximum damage from the axe comes into play, and the less you have to worry about all those lower values in between 6 and 18. In my case, 6 and 18. So if you have a lower critical hit chance, you're more likely to land a much weaker blow that uses that lower range of axe damage. Axes, they start out very low in damage, in this case 6. you could hit 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, blah, 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 all the way up to 18. But if you're almost guaranteeing a critical hit, you're going to be hitting that 18 almost every time. And that is crucial to the viability of this build. And why it ends up being better than a sword, in my opinion. Especially given these two skills down here, Cyclone Axe and Executioner Strike. Alright, so highest axe mastery possible. We'll get more into that in a little bit. Chest piece, minor absorption. Again, the physical damage thing. We want to reduce the amount of physical damage that those Axe Fiends and Blade Storms are doing to us. Because they hit hard, they hit fast, and they clump up together like roaches. It's crazy. The other pieces are focused on increasing your health and +1 to tactics. The reason tactics is so important is because of healing Signet. You're going to be dumping everything initially into Axe Mastery. So you're not going to have a crazy amount of attribute points left over for tactics to give you better healing. So once you put everything into Axe Mastery, you're going to dump the rest in tactics, and then whatever's left over is going to go into strength. So you're prioritizing damage and critical hit chance first, followed by healing, followed by armor penetration from attack skills only. Something that a lot of people don't know, they read the tooltip for strength, and they think that, oh, it gives you armor penetration for every point. Yeah, it does, but only for attack skills. What are attack skills? These things down here, Cyclone Axe and Executioner Strike. Your basic melee attacks that are not utilizing these skills down here are not benefiting from the armor penetration bonus of strength. That's why I'm using it last. If it provided a global armor penetration bonus, maybe I'd prioritize it a little bit more. Maybe I'd take a couple tactics ticks away and bump it into strength. But it doesn't. It only applies to the Cyclone Axe and the Executioner Strike. And from my calculations at this level, 4% armor penetration increases the damage of each of these skills, Cyclone Axe and Executioner Strike, by about 1. 1 extra damage, which is fine. If you ended up putting an armor penetration attachment onto the axe instead of the Furious, which gives you up to an 18% chance per attack to do 20% armor penetration, you're looking potentially at, what did my calculations say? Like 4 to 8 or 4 to 7 increased damage per attack, assuming it hits. The chance rolls in your favor. So the armor penetration can play in your favor when it comes to basic attacks and hitting harder. Haven't played around enough with it to see if it's worth it in the long run. Like, I haven't done a lot of comparisons between this axe and a similar axe with a maximum armor penetration to see if it kills things faster overall. That's something I'm planning on doing in the future. Anyway, now you understand the gear, and you understand the attribute point allocation, and you understand my rationale for why an X-Warrior is so good. So what we're going to do now is put this into practice. I'm going to do a demonstration in real time. Normally, I would bring a second account with me to open the gate for me and all that, but I'm just going to do that by myself. I'm just going to pop a cupcake for the sake of being expeditious about this. I know how slow running can be. So an extra 25% for this little tidbit is going to be welcome. Oh, another thing I should mention while I'm just running over here to the lever is, why are Rangers secondary? The reason is because the bear is an awesome damage sponge. And he also does some damage too, especially at level 19. So he helps you kill things a little bit faster. So I'm using the Minion Master methodology, where if you got more targets, it's damage mitigation. So you got the bear plus myself plus the imp. That's 3 targets. instead of just having 1. Or 2 if you're counting the imp. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do for any run is pop a cupcake, pop a golden egg, and 2 honeycombs. Oh, I just did 1. Right there we go, second one. 2 honeycombs. Get that 10% morale bonus right off the bat for all of my runs going forward. The cupcake gives you plus 100 to your health, plus 10 energy, which makes it so you don't have to worry about Cyclone Axe at all for the entire run, and the movement speed. The movement speed is amazing for making the runs faster, because most of the time you're running from the gate to the altar. Now, the egg gives plus 1 to all of your attributes, so that's an additional 1% armor penetration for your attack skills. That's more damage from your axe, and a higher crit chance, and a little bit more heals from your healing signal. So once I hit that area, I'm going to pop the imp, I'm going to pull that group a little bit further. Alright, perfect. So I wanted to get them away from the altar. The whole goal is to prolong pulling Jaw Smokescreen for as long as I can to get these guys down. Because if he's attacking us, that's more healing I need to do, and the longer it takes to take down these mobs. Now, ignoring Jaw Smokeskin still, I'm going to wait for this group to stop moving, which it just has, and I'm going to take this group down. Now, me moving in like this is likely going to trigger Jaw Smokeskin. Luckily, it did not right now. I think in a moment it will. Once I move in a little bit closer. Got very lucky this time with the positioning of that spawn. Now he's engaged. He's taken everything down. Now I'm hexed, so I'm getting that plus 18% damage. Gonna move in. Now he's gonna probably cast Lava Font. Move away. Heal. I don't want to be standing in Lava Font. Move in. Executioner Strike. Finish him off. Move out. Heal. Move in. Start taking on the rest of the bosses. Keep healing as needed. Alright, move on to the monk. He should be dead momentarily. Keep healing. Move in. Pull the rest of the warriors up here. Get on the boss. Cyclone Axe. Heal up. And then I'll do another Cyclone Axe around these warriors. Oh, we dropped a cane. Nice. More warriors are coming up. Those Knights Insignias, they're doing awesome work for me, preventing all that damage. Let me pick up that cane real quick. Move down here, finish this guy off. That's it. That is a typical Charr run with my Axe Warrior. It takes about 3 minutes. If you get good spawns and you get lucky with everything, you kill everything very quickly. Under 3 minutes to clear everything like I just did. And then you'd have an alt with you to run back through the gate. He'd run up, pull the lever, you run through the gate, and just rinse and repeat. Now, to make this faster, and to offset the faint-heartedness hex, pumpkin pie. I don't have any right now. I've been trying to get some. I ran out of pumpkin pie. But that's amazing for a melee character, because it gives you 25% increased attack speed. So, why am I doing this? There's better shields to be found. There's better axes to be found. Not many better axes. I think the best axe that can drop right now is a 6 to 19. I've heard rumors of 7 to 20. I've never seen it, though. Not that I care about that minimum damage too much. It's the maximum damage, because your level, compared to the level of the Charr, creates an environment where you're going to be hitting critically so often, especially when you pack in all those attribute points into Axe Mastery and use consumables like the egg to increase your weapon skill further. That is huge with this build. You need to have a high weapon skill. 15 in this case. I think there's other consumables maybe to raise it further. I forget, candy corn maybe, whatever. I'll have to look more into it. But the higher you can get that, the more damage you're going to do, the higher the critical chance, and therefore the more you're going to be utilizing that maximum damage of your weapon, which for an axe in pre-searing is amazing. Alright? Also, shields. So what's better than this? You're not going to get a better armor value in any dropped shield. The most you're going to get is +9. So what's the secondary stat that you're looking for? It's tough. Well, on one hand, you could be prioritizing health. And you could be going along the same thing as, hey, if I'm hexed, give me more health. So you could get +58 health while hexed. That's perfect. What I've found over time is I'm going more away from increasing my health to increasing my physical defense. So the same thing with the Knight's Insignias. All those warriors swarm you and attack you very, very quickly. They do quite a bit of damage over time if you don't have things that reduce physical damage. So anything you can do to mitigate that will decrease the amount of time that you have to cast Healing Signet, which helps you do faster runs. So what I'm looking for is something that decreases physical damage, either while hexed, but even better, to give me a percentage to decrease physical damage even further. I forget the max for that, like reduce physical damage -5, 18%, or whatever the hell it is. But I'm looking for something like that, something with +9 armor versus Charr, and then reduces physical damage based on a relevant condition, like hexed, or give me a percentage chance to reduce it even further. So that's what I'm hunting, but this shield is amazing for anybody considering doing Charr farming as a melee character. And that's pretty much it. That's what I got for you guys. So I'm thinking maybe in the future I'll go into more detail with the mathematics. Maybe I'll show you my spreadsheet that I made that calculates all the damage, and it works really well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Ask me any questions. I'm online pretty frequently, so I'm online pretty frequently right now, but I can't guarantee that in the future, so hit me up. And I'm on pre-searing.com as well, so you can hit me up there. I'm on the Pre-Searing Discord, a lot of places. So hope you guys enjoyed. Take care.